Good morning, boys and girls. It's Friday. I did not get to walk with my friend, Mrs. Huber, because it's raining out. And we're so sweet, we would just melt into a puddle. So I'm doing laundry and cleaning my house instead. And those are things I don't really care to do. I'd rather walk, be with a friend, or knit, or read a book, or watch a good movie. But we all have to do things that we don't like to do, right? My number one worst job is cleaning toilets. I don't like to clean toilets, but I like to have a clean bathroom. And in order to have a clean bathroom, I gotta clean the toilet. So you remember that when your parents or your grandparents or your daycare teacher asks you to do something that you don't want to do, just go ahead and do it and be glad that you have the opportunity to do something. All right, so like I like a clean bathroom, means I have to clean my toilet, right? So that's important that we go ahead and do the things that we don't like to do, even if we don't want to do it. Go ahead and get it done. It'll feel good inside that you've done it, and then you can sit down and play with your toys or just do whatever, okay? All right, well, since it's raining today, I thought I'd read Let It Rain. Let It Rain. All right, and this is by Maryann Lefler. Maryann Lefler. I think I'm saying that right. Let it rain, it's spring. That's true, we're in the season of spring, aren't we? Singing birds, budding trees. Look at the little flowers on the trees. I'm seeing a lot of those right now when I'm out walking in my neighborhood and driving. Frogs and tulips and honeybees. Those are things we see in the spring that we did not see in the winter. Digging, tilling, seeds to grow, planting carrots in a row. They're all working together, aren't they? They're going to have a beautiful garden. They've got lettuce, tomatoes, carrots, beans, sunflowers. And those are just the things that they've marked, that they've planted. But then heavy downpours. Look at the rain. Rivers flood. Our flower garden turns to mud. So when it rains really, really hard and really, really fast, the dirt or the soil doesn't have a chance to soak up that rain that's coming down. It'll make flooding. So when you have hard, fast rain, you'll get flooding. The cause of the flooding was the hard, fast rain, and the effect was the flooding. Look how it's probably, we're not going to have hard rain today, but I was looking out my window today thinking, oh, I won't get to go for a walk with Mrs. Huber. Let it rain, rainbows, green grass, soccer fun, picnics swinging in the sun. So the rain's over with, and sometimes when the sun is out and it's raining a little bit, the sun shines through those rain droplets and you'll see a rainbow in the sky. But we need rain in the spring to make the grass and the trees and the flowers grow. We need that rain. Lambs and bunnies, puppy licks, newborn kittens, and little chicks. So in the spring we have lots of new life. Birds hatching out of eggs, chicks hatching out of eggs, baby puppies, and kittens being born. So lots of new life. That's what spring's all about, new life. Building, painting way up high, our little house in the sky. I think that's a tree house. I don't know if any of you guys have a tree house. They're fun, aren't they? But then black flies and spiders, little ants, crawl inside our farmer pants. So you know at school we have to keep our food zipped up, right? Or the ants will come in. So ants are coming in trying to get their food that they're eating up in their treehouse. Let it rain, riding, gliding, cupcake treats, twirling and dancing, beat, bop, beat. They're dancing, aren't they? They're dancing. They've got a Look, an iPod there. You can tell this is a new book because most books would have a radio, but this is a newer book, so they have an iPod with their music on it. But soon, steamy classrooms, blazing heat, wearing sandals on our feet. So spring is starting to warm up. They're wearing their sandals and shorts and t-shirts. Hooray, hooray, last day of school. Heading to the swimming pool. I think after spring is summer. Summer is coming, let it shine. So let's do our seasons. We know we're in spring, then summer, then fall, and winter. Then it goes back to spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Let's say that and clap. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Can we do it faster? Spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. It's a cycle, isn't it? It just keeps going around and around. I love it. Okay. We are going to do an experiment today, a science experiment. Now, I have a balloon. I have a penny. And notice the penny is round and smooth. It's flat like a pancake, isn't it? So this is a circle. This is not a sphere. A sphere, you remember, has space inside. Like this balloon, when I blow it up, it's going to look round, but it's got space inside. Now, I have something else that I got out of Mr. Schmidt's tool stuff. I've got a bolt. This is a bolt that you use for building. And then this is called a hex nut. Now, it's not a nut to eat. It's a tool. It usually goes on a bolt, but it has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is not smooth and round like a penny, right? Okay, it is kind of roundish, but it's got points, corners on it. So the first thing we're going to do is I've stretched my balloon. Now you are not to do this unless your family helps you. Do you understand? Because if you accidentally leave something small out like this, if you have a baby brother or sister or a puppy or a kitty, they might eat these things. So you only do this when your grown-up is helping you. So I'm going to take the hex nut and I am going to drop it inside my balloon. I was at school yesterday and I forgot to bring some balloons home. There, I got it down in there easier by blowing. Now, can you see the hex nut down in there? Now, I'm not going to tie the balloon this time because in a second we're going to take the hex nut out and put the penny in. So I don't want to tie it in a knot, but I'm holding it because if I don't, air comes out. So I'm going to blow it back up. Okay, see the hex nut? Now I'm going to spin this around. Hang on. See if I do it with my right hand. Now, by me spinning it around, watch my hand and the balloon. See, I'm spinning it around. The hex nut, it goes around and around right here. And gravity is what keeps us on the earth. It keeps us from floating away. Gravity pulls that hex nut back down to the bottom where it stops. Hang on. And it also makes that really cool sound, doesn't it? So the hex nut's down here. By me spinning it around, it brings it up to right about here, and it keeps spinning right about there until gravity, it's a force that pulls everything down. It's a force that pulls us down to the ground. It keeps us on the ground. You know how when astronauts go to the moon, there is no gravity. We talked about this, and they float. If they want to walk on the moon, they have to wear very, 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 very heavy shoes. Otherwise, they're going to float because the moon does not have any gravity, doesn't have that force. So watch one more time with the hex nut. That's not good. Hang on. Okay. And gravity pulls it down and it stops. One more time. And it stops. Plus it makes that noise. Listen to that noise. Now I want you to remember that noise, what the hex nut sounds like. Now keep your fingers crossed. I hope I can get the hex nut out. Because next we want to put the penny in, okay? And remember, the penny is smooth and completely round, where the hex nut has sides, has corners. Okay, here's the penny. You all know what that penny looks like. I'm going to blow it up just a little bit. I found this works better. And I'm going to try and stick it in while it's blown up. Did it go down? It did. It's down at the bottom. Now I'm going to blow it up. Okay. Now remember that sound that the hex nut made? Like that. Let's listen and see what sound the... It didn't make any because it's smooth on the outside. What was making that noise was the corners on the hex nut. So they're different, aren't they? Now, I'm going to spin it. I'm trying, boys and girls. The hex nut was much easier. Let's see. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Since we're done with putting the hex nut in, I am going to tie this balloon up. Then I can hold it better. So if you do this experiment at home, it's easier if you have two balloons, one for the penny and one for the hex nut, okay? But I forgot to bring the second one home. And that's okay. Grown-ups forget, don't they? Grown-ups make mistakes. Shoot, I make mistakes all the time. I'm going to hold the balloon like this. Instead of by the knot or the neck, I'm going to hold it like this. Now let's see if I can do this better, boys and girls. I feel like it wants to get going. See it? It spins around until gravity pulls it down, and then it stops. See it spinning? Now watch. Gravity is pulling it down, down, down. Ooh, that was a good spin, boys and girls, until it goes down. So that is a great science experiment that lets you think about, pretend this is our Earth, and this is a sphere, isn't it? Because look, inside there's space. I was able to put something inside there. This is a sphere. Not fear, not spear, but sphere. Okay? Pretend this is our Earth, and we live right here. Gravity keeps us on the Earth. But now let's pretend this is the moon. And if we would go to the moon, we would be floating up into air unless we had those really heavy boots on that keeps us on the moon, because the moon does not have gravity. Okay? So that was our little science experiment today. I want you to think, why was that penny and the hex nut spinning? It was because I was doing this, right? I got it going. So that was the cause. The cause of that penny spinning was me doing this, right? So I spun it, the balloon around, and it made the penny spin, okay? So we're gonna talk about cause and effect. Those are two things. I caused the penny to spin by spinning the balloon, okay? Now I want you to think of our nursery rhymes. Let's say Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Now, what was the cause? The spider sat down beside her, and what was the effect? What happened? Little Miss Muffet ran away, didn't she? Okay, if that spider had not come along, would Miss Muffet still be sitting on her tuffet, on her little stool, eating? Yes, she would. But because the spider came, she ran. All right. Now let's think of Jack Sprat. Now, we don't ever say to someone, "Ooh, you're skinny," or "You're fat." That would make that person cry. It would hurt their feelings. But Jack Sprat is not a real person. He's an imaginary, make-believe, nursery rhyme person. So it's okay to talk about his body. So Jack Sprat could eat no fat. His wife could eat no lean. It means it didn't have any fat in it. So betwixt them both, you see, they licked the platter clean. Now let's just talk about just Jack. Jack Sprat could eat no fat, so he couldn't have anything like sweets,